How do you explain this movement right now?
Off from the air.
Matthew had the potential to completely wipe out the barrier islands, but from what we've been able to see.
And the Coast Guard is saying that it's still not yet safe for boaters to hit the water. It's one of the things that Chief Allen is looking for is a sheen in the water.
SUV versus a Toyota Corolla, that's how it ended up. She was shot multiple times. Again, this is North Springdale Road. This is about 3 miles away from Sloan Avenue. That's where this all started. They were trying to pull her over. They realized that she had warrants. She drove them here. Right now, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office is investigating this. So the waterworks got out here probably about 15 minutes ago. You can see where deaf and hard of hearing as opposed to hearing impaired. Can you explain this, Diana?
Yes.
This is how the McGuigan family woke up. Look, you can see clear through the outside.
It's been about 4 hours since a woman's life was taken in one of the cottages behind me. We're at 1625 24th Court North, just a few blocks away from Pacifico. Police are saying that they first found one of the cars was hit head on. The other one was sideswiped. One of those officers went to the hospital. He wasn't hurt badly, hurt thumb and a hurt neck. But of course, you can see his car right there. The bricks right here that came from the first part of the entrance for the driveway to this home. Take a look at this home. You only have one room left standing.
To keep up with everything going on in Birmingham, go to MagicCityWeekend.com, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and of course, download the app. Have a great weekend, guys. If you're not familiar with this area, this road right here, this is Hattie Nolan Road. So you get here from County Road 218. What you're going to do is turn down Hattie Nolan Road and just keep driving all the way down to the end. It's going to look like you're not going anywhere, but eventually you're going to run into this command center right behind me. That's where you're going to check in. That's where you're going to drop off water. The home that you share with your husband is right back there. A lot of times, both you and I are on the other side of this. We're removed from this. This time, you're pretty much in it.
Right. This was not just my neighbor. This is family.
We are about 3 miles away from where this all started. You can see in the other box the Walgreens. Again, that's 3 miles away, 150 in Ross Ridge. That's where our photographer Perry Dawson is. This is where things are right now. You can see where that tow truck is right now. That tow truck just pulled up here maybe 5 minutes ago. That is actually where we were at the beginning of the morning. We were told to move. Officers came over. They said, "Have you seen anything moving in the bushes?" They shifted the search from right here. They told us to move over here. I want you to take a look at this footage earlier because it's going to show you Hoover police officers walking into this wooded area with AR-15s. That was a little bit after 3 o'clock this morning. We have not seen them since then. I have seen a couple heavy utility SWAT vehicles come in this area. I want to start with this. The man that I talked to, his name is Doug Holston. I talked to him just standing over there on the side of the road. This was a good at least 2 hours after all of this happened. He was still shaking. He could not believe what just happened. He stood there talking to me. He had dry blood on the side of his head and his arm. It was all a part of his story of survival, and it starts with this. Take a look at this footage. This is what we saw when we got here. Fire still burning. It started a little past 7 o'clock this morning on the stretch of 280. Just after you get into Harpersville, you see a lot of metal debris, some of which did this damage to the cab of the 18-wheeler Doug Holston was driving, not only shattering the windshield, but it looks like it was pushed back onto him as he was driving. I'm going to let him pick up this part of the story. Listen.
When the explosion hit, the piece of metal come across the road and it blinded my windshield. And that's when I did that. And that's when I heard that windshield busted. And I kept my eyes closed about 2 or 3 seconds. I opened one to see where I was. And I just coasted on the side of the road. And then got a truck, got out, sit down, and they started getting this glass stuff off. It happened just like that.
And even through all of that, Holston is okay. And he reminded me that this could have been so much worse because he could have easily flipped his 18-wheeler. Instead, he kept his composure and he safely came to a stop on the side of the road. Of course, this is still under investigation. We will continue to follow this and keep you updated. Reporting live in Harpersville, I'm Bakari Savage, WBRC, Fox 6 News. On your side.
Tori says that this only took about 4 minutes, and as soon as she could, she left the driveway, which is where the carjacking happened, and she ran over here to the other side of the house, right here, and she hid right here. But then she heard the car stop in the middle of the street. That's when she thought that he was just going to come back and kill her, so she tried to crawl over here to this fence, but it wouldn't open. 9/21 Tuesday night.
Basically, I was carjacked at gunpoint in my driveway when I got home the other night. Everything that I've trained for, learned, whatever, taught myself, prepared, none of it all went out the window. Completely helpless. I've never in my life felt as helpless as I did that night.
This kickboxing women's self-defense instructor became a victim when she was carjacked in the front yard of her West Side home, similar to recent carjackings in Jacksonville.
Funny thing is, I actually saw them walking down the sidewalk on the other side of the road when I pulled into the neighborhood. But it's so common to see young kids walking at night because they play basketball at the church across the street or whatever. And there's some kids in the neighborhood that resemble like that structure. When it's dark, it's hard to see specifics. But I looked over, looked at them, smiled. They smiled back at me like it was kids who lived here in the neighborhood. I drove down here, parked my car, and lo and behold, a few minutes later, I opened my door and I have a gun to my head.
Tori said this kid was driving her car with the door still open, kind of like this, holding on to it. But the thing about it is, it has a safety feature that if you're driving when the door is open, the e-brake comes on. So the car stops, he gets out, and then runs away to get into the other getaway car. But Tori can't see that he's running away and thinks he's coming towards her.
Oh my God, he's coming back here to kill me. He stopped in the middle of the road. Why would he stop? He's stealing my car. He's coming back here to kill me. So I immediately took off back here. Like I crawled, actually. I'm not gonna right now, but I crawled back here and I stopped right here and I looked. I'm like, okay, I can get in my fence.
She was finally able to get the attention of her daughter by banging on the window. And Tori's husband came running outside to see what was going on, and she felt safe again. Now Tori needs closure. So right now, Tori is waiting to see if her carjacking is related to the other ones that Tom was talking about. But in the meantime, every time that she closes her eyes, she relives what happened. Live on the West Side, I'm Bakari Savage, Channel 4, the local station.